Thank you. Good morning, I'm Philip, and I will be speaking to you today about Germany's prescription DTX regulatory environment, about the positive developments that we've seen in Germany, but also some of the cliffhangers that we are keeping focused on. A short introduction on Vivira. Musculoskeletal conditions are the greatest cause for work disability days. So they provide a huge problem to the patients affected, but also a huge economic cost to society overall. Now, Vivira is the prescription DTX, in Germany we call them DIGA solution, against back pain, and has been listed in general reimbursement for 4 years, and is clinically proven to be both superior to physiotherapy in pain reduction and superior to physiotherapy in terms of pain medication reduction. As I said, we've been listed permanently, as we call it in Germany, as a DIGA for the past 4 years. So how's it going? How is DIGA as a reimbursement scheme overall developing in Germany, and how is our company specifically doing? And of course, we're going to be looking at it within the context, especially of the regulatory environment. Well, overall, DIGA is doing well. Overall, we've had, and this is until the end of 2023, 600,000 DIGAs reimbursed in the statutory health insurance system. And very positively, 77.6% of the prescribers state that they use DIGA very often, or occasionally to support their therapy. 77.6%, and this is data from the statutory health insurance. Also positively, 56.4% of patients state that they use their DIGA on at least 4 days per week. Right? So a DIGA is like in most cases, an app, a digital therapeutics app. 56.4% state that they use it at least 4 days per week. And 53.0% use their DIGA over the entire 90-day prescription period. I have to tell you that I was pleasantly surprised by this data. I was not sure it would be this positive 4 years into Germany having prescription DTX, basically app-based therapies. This is good. So, after 4 years of general reimbursement and prescription DTX in Germany with DIGA, we conclude DIGA are being increasingly prescribed. Doctors appreciate the value of DIGA in day-to-day care, and patients use their prescribed DIGA. In this context, also our company, Vivira, is growing. And we see here our last 12-month revenue is continually increasing, and we are this year going to come in at about 6 million euros in actual real revenue. So how do we relate all of this to specifically Germany's prescription DTX regulatory environment? Really important if we want to understand how these companies, these DIGA companies, are going to continue to grow, but also how additional European countries are going to implement their own general reimbursement DTX regulatory frameworks. We all know that healthcare is highly regulated, and as a consequence of this, the ability to build a successful company and to successfully innovate, one day be able to export digital therapeutics products across the world, is to a very large extent determined by regulation. So it's extremely important. We had 2 laws in Germany, the DVG and the DIGIG, and these 2 laws, they successfully set the stage for prescription DTX, DIGA, at scale, right? I said, for instance, MSK is the biggest cause for work disability, so we're talking about population health issues. We're talking about tens and tens of millions affected every year in Germany alone. So we have to figure out how to solve DTX at scale. Now, with DIGA, all doctors in Germany can prescribe DIGA. All statutory health insurances, we have 99 of them, must cover the costs for approximately 73 million publicly insured. But setting the stage doesn't mean that the potential is realized. It's simply setting the stage. So now, regulation needs to continually develop its regulation for DTX, regulators, to make sure it is in fact patient-centric and digitally integrated, enabling in the future what we call value-based healthcare at scale. A huge chance, but a lot of work remains. And other European or countries all over the world can learn a lot from what works well and what does not yet work well in Germany. There are specifically 2 regulatory issues that require and deserve special attention. Number 1, the DIGA prescription and the prescription activation process, today mostly manual and in very many cases paper-based, is being digitized in mid-2025. And, second big topic, as we move Germany's healthcare system towards value-based healthcare, more and more, step by step, we will have DIGA usage accompanying performance measurement. We call it ABEM, as a basis for future performance-based DIGA pay. And this is starting already, one could say, in 2026. Yeah, 2 really big issues that we need to get right in Germany, and hopefully others will get right as well. According to the law, insurances must issue the DIGA activation codes to the patients within 48 hours of receiving the prescription. But are they doing it? We analyzed it, and we grouped all the health insurances, the 99, according to type and size to show the results. And I'll tell you right now, the current process, which is also controlled by the health insurances, because they love to have control of these sorts of things, is not working. Let me show you some data. A very large share of Vivira prescriptions that get handed into the health insurances do not activate. We see here between 16 and 38%. And we see this strange outlier. In the brackets, you see the number of policyholders within that group. So 20 million insured in a certain health insurance group. Of those, in that group, 38% of handed-in prescriptions don't activate. And even irrespective of this outlier, if you look at the other values, between 16 and 25%, why aren't they activating? I mean, these patients got a doctor prescription for a DTX. They went and they downloaded and installed the DIGA. They created a user account, and then they uploaded their prescription to be handed in to the health insurance. That's a lot of commitment by that patient. Why then are so many not activating? Well, as I say, the current process being controlled by the statutory health insurances seems not to be working. Why? If we look at the average number of days of those who activate between handing in the prescription to the health insurance and then seeing that the patient actually activates the DIGA, again, we see a big range from 10.6 to 20.4 days. 20.4 days for a digital therapeutic to activate it? Not from prescription, but from handing in the prescription to the health insurance. That makes no sense. This is a pretty good way to kill DTX, I think. And so I'm saying this is a regulatory concern. Right? If Germany wants DTX, they better fix this process. Again, we have that same ominous group. I know who these people are, but I'm not going to tell you. I don't want to finger point. 20.4 days to activate a digital therapeutic? And even without the outlier, between 10.6 and 13.3 days, and the law requires 48 hours, 10.6, even the best ones, are a lot more than 2 days. And 95% of the prescriptions are handed into the insurances digitally, so there's no post-delay or anything like this here. Right? So this is structurally broken in Germany. And I hope that other countries will avoid this sort of a situation, and I hope that we fix it quickly in Germany. So the big question, this will be digitized in 2025. The question is, how will it be digitized? Yeah? Will the health insurances still stay in control of the process, making it more complicated than necessary for patients? Or will we have a regulation next year for this process that will be truly patient-centric, seamless, digital, enabling those with a prescription to get activated right away from within the DIGA? Big question. Second big area, this term like this, DIGA usage accompanying success measurement as a basis for performance-based DIGA pay. Well, of course, the system only wants to pay for performance. I get that, I support that. The question is, again, how do we implement it? Yeah? And a couple of points on this ABEM, which are to be discussed, have not yet been discussed in the German healthcare system and will be discussed in the next couple of quarters, and we all need to make sure, all those who have a stake in the German DTX phenomenon, that this ABEM does not disrupt user experience, making it really, really complicated to use the DIGA and thereby actually harming the DIGA's therapeutic effectiveness. We have to make sure that DIGA specifics are taking into account different therapy areas, different patient types, all of this. We can't have a one-size-fits-all solution for DIGA usage accompanying success measurement. We have to make sure that this complements clinical evidence, but doesn't replace it, right? These are not consumer products. These are doctor-prescribed, clinically evidenced therapeutics. Yes, of course we want PROMs and PREMs to complement the measurement of success, but we see a risk right now in the German healthcare system that, well, they're saying, if the patient doesn't like the broccoli, then broccoli is bad. Next point, we need to make sure that there's not huge opportunity for misuse. Yeah? I mean, it has implications for DIGA manufacturers' revenue, right? And we have to make sure that it doesn't explode bureaucracy. So my time now being up as well, I tried to give you an overview today that DIGA overall is working well in Germany. It's a little bit slower than we'd all hoped, but it's coming. That our company successfully growing in that context, that lots of big regulatory issues will determine the success of DIGA in the future, and that these two processes we are very, very closely monitoring and hope will turn out really, really good for the future of DIGA and mostly for the future of patients in Germany in the future. So thank you. We're here with a small stand. If you'd like to discuss further, please come and see us.